We continue in this fifth chapter of the Gospel of St. Matthew, and Jesus is giving his interpretation of the law. He is presenting himself after the Beatitudes, going through more laws and giving his interpretation, and he will be the key to understand how to interpret law. So this gospel reading, he says, if it is your right hand that causes you to sin, cut it off. If it is your eye, pluck it out and throw it away. You can't be more clear about how to listen to the law. This is a very severe interpretation, and the law is really a demonstration of our commitment and to be in covenant relationship with God. We should allow nothing to come between us in our commitment to the covenant that we have with God. But Jesus is also the way to interpret this. And if you think about the law that the people of his time were following, when Jesus sits down to a meal with those who are sinners, he is breaking the law. How can we put these two together? When the woman is caught in adultery and the religious leaders bring her before him publicly and say, "What are we to do? The law commands us to stone her." And Jesus bends over and he begins to draw on the ground. And then when they persist, he says, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." When they have all left, Jesus says, "I do not condemn you, nor have they. Go." So how do we interpret this? And the way that I look at it is there is a before and an after. Before we even consider anything that is sinful, Jesus is very clear. Do not sin. But afterwards, he is full of mercy. He is the one who interprets it by mercy, but he is also the one who commands us to follow the law, to be in covenant relationship. But there is another one who is involved in this, and it is the voice of the evil one. And before we sin or before we are tempted, this voice will say, "There is no God. There is no such thing as sin. Live however you want. There are no consequences." But after a person sins, there will never be forgiveness, and it will never allow you to forget. You are to walk even further away from God because of sin. This dynamic and this tension, I think each and every one of us has sensed. When we live in right relationship with God, our conscience is quiet and calm. We have no reason not to approach God. But after we sin, that is where the voice of a loving and merciful Savior comes in. It draws us back to this right relationship with God in covenant. We have to bow our heads. We have to ask for forgiveness. We have to approach the church and ask for reconciliation. But never listen to this other voice that says that there is no God. There is no such thing as sin. It will draw you even further away. In this Gospel of St. Matthew, this fifth chapter, Jesus is so very clear. The foundation of our lives is this covenant. Let nothing come between us. But should sin seep into our lives in some form or some fashion, we continue to listen to the voice of the Savior, who is God's mercy, who demonstrates God's love, who restores us to right relationship.